video. He's
All right,
talking
guys.
about.
I'm gonna give you very shortly. We may be going live. It's loading, and I'll let you know. We may go about 45 seconds or 30 seconds faster than 7 o'clock.
Sounds good to me.
All right, guys. We are live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Police Off the Cuff After Hours. I'm Mark DeMayo. I'm with my partner in all things law enforcement, Bill Cannon. Tonight we have an incredible guest. He's one of my favorite comedians. I've done shows with him for years. He has a very, very great podcast that can be found on Compound Media. It's called Crime Report and New York Crime Report. Give it up for Pat Dixon, folks. Let him feel the love.
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it. Wow.
I can feel it in 10,000 households. All those people.
Good looking crowd.
What's up, Pat?
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here. I thought you guys only had cop guests.
Well, listen. As the show progresses, now we're starting to expand, and we're pretty much taking anybody who has anything to do with law enforcement. If you ever got a ticket, a parking ticket,
I think he has a suit from an old retired or DOA detective.
Yeah. I do have Pete Paduccio on the show pretty frequently. I know
DOA detective.
Yeah, with the Hawaiian shirts, right? Yeah, he looks like he's undercover down there.
Oh, I don't know. He was.
Are you talking about Pete Burdett? Oh, no, you're talking about Pete Paduccio. I thought you were talking about the comedian Pete Burdett. Yeah, Pete Panuccio. Yeah, he's a great guest, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, man. What do you not know after 40 years of being a detective in NYPD, man? But
he also has this quality about him, like you could just see him behind the desk with a cigarette and a cup of coffee, running the show. You know what I'm saying? He just has that, it's like central casting, how they say,
Exactly. Yeah, you imagine a guy that has that job, and that's Pete Paduccio, and that's great for me, man. That's perfect for the show.
And he comes through. He comes through because he has the look, but he also has the personality too, and he's seen it all. So he's the whole package, man. He's the real deal. Just like Bill. Bill is the real deal too. That's why I latched on to Bill. I was a fucking do nothing as a cop, but with Bill, I look legit.
Well, look, Bill, you were on with Pete Paduccio the other night, and we also had let's see, was that it, or do we have somebody else on? I forget.
No, it was just you, I, and Pete Paduccio.
Yeah, and it was. I would have gone with that. I'd go with that panel, 10 times out of 10, and you guys were great. Mark, you gotta come by again. I haven't seen you in a long time.
I remember when we used to do the New York Crime Report, and we were doing it at the Creek.
Yeah, one of my first guests.
We had that. We had the lawyer, the ADA. He was a defense attorney.
Oh yeah, he was on retainer, for a gang.
What's funny about that is I got into a situation because of that guy. It wasn't through no fault of his own. It just so happened that I had a friend, and he was involved in an incident as a youth, and the cold case opened up a case on it. So long story short, my friend had called me up, and I didn't know one thing or the other, but he just said, "Do I know anybody, who as a lawyer?" So I was like, "Listen, I met this defense attorney. He sounds like he's really annoying, so he's probably good." So I sent him a picture of the card, and the kid wound up lawyering up. And then I'm already retired at this point. You know what I'm saying? This is my childhood friend. And it turns out, I probably shouldn't have done that. I had some regrets about it, but there's way, way more to the story that I'm not going to divulge, just because, whatever.
As long as you regret something, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it was just a tough,
if you're Catholic, you go to confession so you can be forgiven.
If I told you the whole story, you'd probably side with me.
I'm sure I'm on your side. I haven't seen Jim Jim Polk there. I haven't seen him. Wow, man. In Christ. I haven't seen him since Trump got elected, if you know what I mean.
Well, I hope he's doing well. And like I said, my I thought enough of him to recommend him. So
yeah.
That. But what's funny too is also the way your show has evolved. The way we used to do it, I don't think we were doing any visual. It was just a podcast. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And
That show continues, by the way, Mark. You know, that show's still on iTunes and everything. I mean, I do that with Pete Paduccio as well.
oh, good.
Yeah, so it's two separate shows. It makes everybody confused. New York City Crime Report, it's all about New York City. Crime Report on Compound, it's about whatever, crime
Yeah.
everywhere. And they're both cop centric, so like because fuck, nothing else is.
And you come from a journalism background, right?
I dropped out of school to drink. I majored in journalism, switched my major to alcoholism. And but
I like that.
yeah, but I was married.
What kind of classes did you have to take?
For alcoholism?
Yeah.
None. You go straight to the head of the line.
Where did you go?
Middle Tennessee State.
Because the way you do your show, you can tell there's journalistic background behind it. There's a format to it. There's obviously a format structure, and the way you build up the stories, and then there's the punchlines in it. It's like a real news story, but then you add the jokes to it, so it's really clever.
Thanks, man. It's almost like I have a comedy background as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know what? Most comedians are just doing the show this, one way. And then when you watch the way you do it, you can see, okay, this guy's got, not only does he have the comedy because he's a comedian, but he also has, you could tell you have a journalistic background.
Thanks, man. It's like a real personalized newscast, a real, what do you call informal, I guess you'd say, I mean, all the stuff that we talk about, is stuff. And there's a lot of it happening now. God, it's like a bumper crop. Just I was starting to miss like the subway pushers and stuff like that. Now they're back in the news again. And, somebody threw some babies out of windows, that's kind of a retro one.
Seven people shot in an apartment house in Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
One dead, one critical. It's like it's back to the late 80s, early 90s all over again,
Yes.
All the work that we did to drop crime is going out the window under this mayor and this governor. I give this governor just as much credit.
Well, yeah, he's the bail reform guy, so you got to give it to him for that. And with COVID, man, he's had a lot to do with all that crap too, man. He's the worst. But hey, he won an Emmy. That's what's important, right?
I can't believe that. It's almost like Obama getting the Nobel Peace Prize after 2 months in office. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
that was pathetic. It was so pathetic. That's fake news. And so is Cuomo winning an Emmy.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah,
I mean, like, what was he? He was for comforting people, through television and all that.
Yeah, I love when the left always goes, and we'll work with. This is how he talks, and we'll work with the science. They only believe in science when it is congruent with their ideology. Other than that, they don't believe in science.
Yeah, start talking about some trans topics. Suddenly science is kind of like
science gets thrown out the window. Talk about the 6,500 elderly people that died because of science. The science of you putting them in a nursing home and forcing them to be there. That's science.
That's a low estimate, man. I mean, it's. I heard 8,000, possibly as many as 12 or more.
Yeah, and he takes no credit for that at all.
You haven't heard a word about him getting Biden picking him for a seat in the.
He may have turned it down behind the scenes. You never know.
May have turned it down.
Yeah, he could have got offered it and said, "Don't offer it to me."
I don't think so.
Well, he loves being governor because he's like.
The guy ain't turning shit down, bro.
He should probably take it because I think he's done as governor. Although, if you look at the comments, like on Facebook when he goes live, all these people from other states idolize this guy, and everyone from New York is like, "Quit, you motherfucker!"
Mike Wallace called him an idiot the other day.
Who did?
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace. How old's Mike Wallace now?
No. Well, who? No, Chris Wallace.
His son, Chris Wallace.
Chris Wallace called him an idiot the other day because he blew up at the Reporter. See, he's like a bit of a bully in a way. Both him and his brother. They had that show that they were doing in the morning in the beginning of COVID, and it was funny for about a week, and then it just got fucking really annoying. And the two of them, they can't get out of each other's way. Because they're both basically just these stupid bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about comedic chops, right? Man. I mean,
I thought it was the Smothers Brothers again. Oh, mom liked you best. No, mom liked you. I was like, where did they get this act from?
Yeah, which one do you got?
The
Which one of you
Smothers Brothers did it 35, 40 years ago.
Yeah, you wonder which one is supposed to be the funny one.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be something that maybe they did once a week. And then once they saw the ratings from the first day, they decided to do it every day. And then it just got like bad. It got ugly.
And then nobody on the left goes, hey, wait a second. COVID is raging through the state, as they say. Oh, my God, COVID is the next bubonic plague. Look, a gigantic Q-tip, you know? They're messing around. They're like joking around and stuff, and it's supposed to be the worst thing that ever happened. Man, COVID doesn't.
I think about all these things that we had set in place, like that freaking ship that was on the west side there. And I'm thinking, where did this fucking ship go, and why did we move it? Why not keep it central to a place like either New Jersey or New York or Connecticut, where if you needed it, you can just move it around? Why did we fucking give it back? And why, in the middle of all of it, did we let the regular people go? I mean, we let the COVID people go to the hospital, and we let the regular people go to these fucking the ship and all this other stuff, when it should have been the other way around.
I don't think anybody. Nobody went to the ship, did they?
There was like 44 people on it. I remember reading one day.
44 people, and
that was including the staff.
And they could. What they should have done is anybody who had COVID, they should have put them on that ship and just sailed it out. Go anywhere.
Like one of those cruise ships, but with no entertainment, no comics, no singers, no dancers.
It should have been filled with oranges, and we just should have stopped at every port and taken everybody's COVID patients until the ship was full.
Send them to the worst souvenir shops in the Caribbean.
Tell them right down to Gitmo. I don't know, man. The cases that doesn't mean anything. It's the deaths, and the deaths aren't going up. None of the numbers support any of the stuff that's happening in the city. Getting rid of, like, the schools, they had that 3%, which is ridiculous. 3% in the city, and all the schools shut down. They knew they were going to hit that. The unions, they get paid anyway. The whole thing stinks, man. The whole thing is just self-serving.
Well, for everybody who said that, COVID's going to end as soon as Donald Trump, that hasn't come through yet. And if you do know people, I know people who are getting picked off, and it's the same, it's like overweight already, but I'm talking about extremely overweight, where you're in harm's way to begin with. That's where the doctor tells you, if you have one more thing, it's going to be tough. Diabetes, stuff like that. So
one more French fry, it's over with.
Yeah, but you got a kid that goes to school in the day. He picks it up. Nothing's going to happen to him, but now he brings it home to his overweight dad who just came home from work. So that's a problem. It's tough, man. It's really, really tough to figure it out.
Well, from what I understand, the kids don't really transfer it that much, if at all, either. They're almost like fully exempt. I mean, Charles Atlas is who I listen to. I don't know if you ever listen to that guy, but man, he's pretty.
I used
convincing.
to look at his when he was on the back of the comic books. I looked at him, but
yeah, are you tired of having
that guy still alive?
Yeah, the sand kicked in your face and all that shit.
He's still alive, that guy?
He sure is. Yeah, now he's an expert on COVID. Yeah, but none of the numbers are convincing, man. I don't know. It's the whole thing. Now, wasn't there another hospital at Javits?
Yeah.
They opened up like
That's another thing that's curious about the nursing homes is they had those two other options. What the fuck was he saving it for, waiting for? I don't understand. I don't understand why they went into the nursing homes. And you know what? Listen, it was a mistake. Rather than own it and say, listen, I was in a situation or I had to make a decision. I didn't know what was going to happen. No, the fucking guy, it was Trump's fault.
I wanted to invite that state trooper who was doing his daughter. I wanted to invite him over my house for Thanksgiving.
He's still with us.
I don't know who he was, though. I was trying to find out who he is.
That's another thing. What a fucking moron. There's no way to make your daughter elope quicker than hating her fucking boyfriend.
That's right.
Happens to be a state trooper. I mean, really, I would have fucking welcomed this guy in. He would have been my buddy, and behind my back, I would have been fucking stabbing him, hoping that my daughter breaks up with him. It would have been, you know what I'm saying? Because this other way that you chose, That's the fucking dumbest shit. This guy's driving like 3 hours now every single weekend to go see her.
I believe in science, so I sent my daughter's boyfriend up to Canada.
Yeah, he's in the Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
That's a long distance.
Now he's wearing a red Royal Canadian Mounted Police hat.
Yeah. Jesus.
Now he's getting snatched away up there. You know?
Yeah.
He's got
away.
You know, he's getting snatched. He's getting women up there, and then he comes home on the weekends, and he's hanging out with your daughter too. You fucking idiot! You could have kept him. You could have kept him here close. That's such a stupid move, by the way. That's such a stupid move.
Yeah, I mean, like, and then the papers pick it up, and he looks like an asshole too, you know. But
I know.
Let's see what happens with the daughter. You know, I mean, she couldn't turn out worse than De Blasio's daughter. That's for sure.
And you guys, Mark, you want to see a little bit of Pat's comedy?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to.
You could.
Let's see if this works.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Let's see.
Oh, this is going to be brutal.
We've never done this before, Pat. So
yeah,
don't.
Thanks for breaking it in on me. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I can't do it, man. I don't know what happened.
Good.
I'm technically challenged here. Wait a minute. There we go. There we go.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. To me, marriage feels like a downgrade. When you get engaged, what do you have? A fiancé. Doesn't that sound nice? Fiancé. It's a nice word. Makes you want to call home, right? Fiancé. After that, you got a spouse. Ugh. A damn spouse. Makes you want to call an exterminator or something. I got a spouse in the house. I've been married before. I married my high school sweetheart, which, right. When you marry your high school sweetheart, it's kind of like you said, you know what? I've looked all over the school. It's like the dumbest way to find a spouse. And so it didn't work out. Here's how I found out we were splitting up. I was going to get a tattoo of her on my body, you know, to symbolize our love. And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Okay, got it. Next marriage broke up, I guess. Oh, I would say because of jealousy and a lack of understanding. She was jealous and she never could understand. Sometimes I just get glitter on me. I understand women better than I used to. I know that women like flowers. I don't really get why. I know we just send them on faith. That's it. It doesn't have to make sense. Women like to get flowers. Men would rather get like $40. Yeah. In fact, would it kill you to occasionally just cough up $40 and send it my way? I would love that. Wouldn't you love to be at work? You get an envelope. You're like, well, look at that. That's really sweet. There's like $40 in here. And look at that, there's no card. My wife really gets me. Yeah, man. I love the girl I'm with, but I can't bring her back to my place anymore. It's a bit of a problem. I have a thin wall in the bedroom. The other night we're there, we could hear my 22-year-old neighbor, a female, having sex. We could hear her having sex. Or I say we could hear it. We listened, actually. But isn't that what women want, right? A guy who knows how to listen. But anyway, I don't like I don't like come back there anymore because, you know, I figure my neighbor can hear us, and I don't want from my neighbor to hear me disappointing my girlfriend. And it, you know, because I feel like I'm letting down two women now, you know. It didn't bother me so much. Like I actually heard her on the other side of the wall one time we get done, and I heard, "Aw." My girlfriend talks during sex sometimes. She said, yeah, choose your words wisely if you're going to talk during sex. She said, don't stop. And immediately, I feel exhausted. And plus, it starts me thinking, how does this girl know I'm thinking about stopping? So I was thinking about stopping. It's a real mind reader.
That's
Maybe
enough.
Astrology.
That's enough.
We took a trip. We went to...
Uncle.
All right.
Isn't that funny? Thanks very much, Mark. It's funny like, when you watch shit like that. It's like you're seeing a completely different comic for the first time. I don't even recognize that
I
guy.
don't like it at all, Pat. I totally understand what you're going through right now.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this feels cool.
Yeah. Well.
My fault. I can't turn off the sound.
What?
Yeah, no, we got to listen to the whole thing, and then whatever video comes next.
No, he's gonna do it.
Damn, I forgot about all these. I forgot about all those jokes though.
You look really good. And let me tell you something.
I still got that same suit. Wear it all the time.
You know what's funny is that you in the suits. I've gotten so used to you in the suits that if I see you in regular clothes, it fucks me up.
Right. It's like seeing your teacher at the grocery store.
Yeah. It's like something's you don't belong. How did that? Hold on.
I'm trying to get your sound off, man.
Why didn't you just exit out?
Just stop the video. Just push stop.
There's like letters in the words that aren't letters.
Just
like letter shape.
Wait.
Letter lightning bolts.
We may have to listen to the whole fucking thing.
we don't. I think we do. I don't think we do. There's got to be a way out. Just stop the video. Just push stop. Pause.
He wants to know.
Bill, just take your computer and throw it against the wall. And then jump on it like 10 times. Hopefully it'll stop.
For real. Anything, whatever it takes.
How did you come up with the hold on one second. We're almost at the end. Now he's starting it again.
I got it off. I finally figured it out.
Pat, how did you start with this?
We challenged you.
Well, I mean, what I did was I dressed real shitty on stage, and I got tired of hearing people tell me how shitty I dressed on stage, so I just wore a suit that I had, and people were like, "Oh, I love this character you're doing. Oh, this is great." I'm like, "Oh, Christ." I just wanted people to like listen, you know what I mean? It's not that unusual. A lot of people do it, but that's the way it happened. It's pretty boring.
Well, you know what? We don't see a lot of people every day, and we don't see them, at every set, even the Tuesday night spot, going from place to place. So that, and you know what? It's genius in a way. If you notice, most of the people that are, the billionaires in our country, they're these eccentrics, and a lot of them wear the same clothes. It's very enlightened people, like I just watched the Norman Lear thing. He always wore that hat. Woody Allen always wears the same thing. I worked in a building as a doorman when I was a kid, and this guy S.I. Newhouse used to live there. He was a big time publisher worth $1 billion back then. He always wore the same thing. Same thing with Bill Gates. So that is like your signature now. That's like your hallmark. I'm sure it's easy for you too, right?
Oh, it's the easiest. Yeah. I mean, a suit, you never have to think about it until you get too fat and the jacket doesn't button anymore and shit like that. You got to make some decisions. But
what happens like you're just hanging out one day and we decide to start throwing around the football though?
That's never going to happen. I throw the football around in a suit. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, no big deal.
That would be funny if we had the softball game, the annual softball game that they do in Brooklyn, and you showed up in the suit.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah. Do you remember a few years ago? Did you go work on the island up there? I'm this is kind of a weird thing, but a bunch of comics did it. It was some kind of Bloomberg event, and they paid you like $800 to hang out for a few hours.
No.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Where? What island was this?
Like Randall's Island, maybe, or something. I don't know where they had the event. So that was back when we could do things outside and shit. Remember that?
Yeah,
I mean, regular life, man. We're so divorced from it now. It's really a bummer. I was watching some footage of the Go Topless parade when we covered that. How to do that once a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's they're a UFO cult. I'm just looking at it, man. Everybody's having fun. It's sunny outside. It's a blast. It's, it's the dumbest event ever or whatever. But there's a lot of women with no shirts on, and you can't even do that anymore. Not even. It's like it's what we've lost is just day-to-day normality, man. I don't mean to bum everybody out. We all know this shit, but we got to take it back because it's never going away unless people do something, right? They're not going to take it away.
Yeah. Listen, until people stop getting sick from it, it's got to work its way around. I mean, we tried it, we paused it, we stunted it. At some point, the whole idea was that we had to let the hospitals catch up.
Right.
And when they did, we still didn't want to fucking let the thing out. The thing had to get out.
Yeah.
It's going to work its way through every crack and crevice in this fucking country. It's going to find the people that it wants and infect them. I always think about it like you ever hanging out with somebody or you're all at like a barbecue or some type of thing. And there's one person that gets fucking eaten up by mosquitoes. Everybody else was there hanging out. Maybe you got one. Somebody else got two. This guy got 50. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? That's the person that gets the COVID.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
You know what I had heard yesterday, and I went out to see my mom out on Long Island at this assisted living facility. They wouldn't even let me see her. So I brought her an apple pie and a bottle of wine, and a staff member had to bring it to her because they had 2 new cases of COVID in the facility, But she told me that people with type O blood, have a much more difficult chance of contacting COVID, and B, if they do get it, it's not as severe. And I was like, who told you that, Ma? And sure enough, I looked it up. She was right.
Yeah, I got O type.
But if you have A, the reverse is true.
Yeah, A is bad.
Gets it easier and gets a more severe case.
Yeah.
I don't even know my blood type. That's pretty bad. But yeah.
Your blood type is Marlboro.
There was a guy named James Gregory, and he said, you know what? I smoke 2 packs a day because I'd smoke more, but I just don't have time.
But when people smoke now, they're really hardcore people because they know it's killing them. And they do it anyway.
I'm right. I am in this bar. I'm smoking right inside, But yeah, cigarettes kill way more people than COVID. So
yes. Well, why are you still smoking?
You could be sucking on somebody's mask and you'd be better off than this.
Do you hate life? Is that why you're smoking?
Well, I don't.
You know what though?
I quit for 15 years, and I started back about 2 weeks after I got into my 3rd marriage. So you could kind of extrapolate how that was.
I never quit. I've been going since I was fucking 12.
Damn.
I don't smoke a lot. I have my it depends. If I'm drinking, probably gonna smoke a lot that night, and I drink almost every night. So there you go. But it takes me like a pack lasts me like 2.5, 3 days.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No way. Really?
Well, because I don't smoke when I go to work. Like I'll smoke after like a joint or something like that. I'll smoke, and if I'm drinking, but it's like 2 or 3. That's it a day.
You smoke a little marijuana then, huh?
Yeah, it's good for me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I want to kill everybody.
I remember before you retired, you were looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, listen.
I'm just seeing our numbers, our audience numbers, disintegrate as he's he's talking.
No,
about
if they didn't
audience.
Look at New Jersey. Look at New Jersey.
Just lost 15 Patreon members.
You look at New Jersey, right? What are they doing?
Generally, they do the same thing we're doing.
Well, they just legalized it.
Oh, weed. I thought, okay. Yeah. Good for them. Yeah.
So, it's time to stop fucking, pretending like this doesn't have its value. You know what I'm saying? We're living in a time right now, especially like the old fashioned cop. It's just, there's nothing wrong with it. If you drink, you're probably worse off. I've met a million fucking people that are assholes. That drink,
yeah.
And they're just jerks.
You know where you can meet a lot of them? AA.
Yeah.
But
I worked with I had my boss once on the job was a dry drunk. He was a guy who quit probably cold turkey. And he was the meanest motherfucker you'd ever meet, bro. I mean, you didn't want to.
There's nothing worse than a dry drunk.
Yeah.
The dry drunk needs to drink, basically,
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference in sobriety and being a dry drunk, but the marijuana, it doesn't do you see, like you're one of these guys like Sherrod Small. Back when I was in show business, I was I used to take a chance and smoke some weed before I go on stage because I've seen Sherrod do that. I don't smoke weed anymore. But it didn't work for me, man. It works for you. That's great. But it's a lot of people.
I have arthritis. I have arthritis, and I have the type of arthritis where it's in every joint. And when I go to the doctor, it's either like just to get through the pain wise. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
either
fuck yeah.
fucking taking all this ibuprofen or that. And a lot of times that helps me 100 times better because, and it's coming to the season right now. I should really live in a climate where, once the cold comes, that's when everything starts hurting. But I have it like this one doctor told me, you have arthritis like, and I was, mind you, I was like 40 years old at the time, like a 65-year-old person. At
Jesus
40.
Christ.
You know what I'm saying?
That's terrible, man. And why Florida is where everybody's going, man. Have you noticed that? I mean, like obviously everybody's going.
Anyone that's a Republican's fleeing there, that's going to be a permanent red state,
Well, Florida, yeah.
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 Well,
are you ready?
I'd rather be there.
Are you ready to accept the reality that Trump lost?
What, me?
Yeah.
No, Trump's going to win the election, no question. Wait and see. If he was going to lose, he would have done it by now. They arrested George Soros today.
Yeah. Well, NBC called the election, so it has to be certified.
Oh yeah, the AP and everything. Yeah, the transition I hear is moving along well and everything. I think that Cuomo may be the AG.
No, they already appointed someone, I think.
Oh, did they really? Who?
I think they did appoint someone.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, they didn't. Not the Attorney General, Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. Yeah.
Well, we talked about this earlier. So you think he's going to be AG?
Yeah, I mean that's what I heard talk about it. Yeah. Could be.
Oh, Chris Cuomo?
Chris Cuomo, yeah. Fredo.
What's the difference?
Fredo.
You know what I love to say? Fredo's brother.
Yeah.
Think of what a great joke that is. Where it's two words, but it's so denigrating towards the older brother. When you call him Fredo's brother.
Fredo's brother.
I'm smart and I want respect.
Yeah.
He's not even smart enough to be Fredo. He's Fredo's brother.
I'm going down to Washington, D.C. to learn the politics business.
That's right. That's right. Hey, you smacking around my brother? Hey, he was banging cocktail waitresses 2 at a time.
Hey,
yeah,
you have that poster that me and you were at what was that place in the casino in Connecticut? Remember we were both on the poster together? We were dual headliners.
Yeah, I don't have
that poster.
I had to cull all my posters down because it was too much. I had too many pictures of me hanging up. This place is not big enough. This is the smallest room in New York City, for Christ's sake. Yeah, do you have it still?
I still have that poster. Yeah, it was I'm trying to think, what was the name? It was either Mohegan Sun or Foxwoods. I think they were at the Foxwoods.
I think you're right. Right.
Ryan Brouth. Yeah, and I still have that poster, man.
That was a pretty fun show.
That was a good weekend.
How big are the audiences there?
What's that?
The people in the audience there?
People in the audience. They were the thing about a casino is it's always people that are losing money. They go in there to put a tourniquet on it.
No, I mean, but how large is the audience?
Oh, I think it probably holds 300 or so, I would guess. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean we got 300. But I'll be down in Chattanooga. I'm going to be on stage doing headlining sets again. I can't wait.
When is this?
It's the day before Thanksgiving, and then which is this week, right? So it's Wednesday, and then Friday and Saturday.
So how are you getting down there?
In a car.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's featuring just by chance, so we're gonna ride down together.
The COVID car?
Oh yeah, the COVID mobile.
Not the COVID plane.
How long does it take to get down there?
It's probably 13, 14 hours maybe.
And you're gonna drive?
Yeah, she and I.
You went straight through?
I don't know. It's probably going to end up to be that. Yeah, it's probably going to end up to be that. No big deal. I've done it before. I was just down there.
What kind of car do you have?
A
Honda Fit is what she drives. I don't have one.
Is it 2000 and above?
Definitely.
Hey, hey, when you're driving, do you wear the suit the whole way down and then just jump out of the car and run up on stage?
Yeah.
After 13 hours? Honey, I'll be right back.
What do you do about smoking cigarettes in the car? You still smoking the whole way?
Yeah.
That's a 2-pack ride at least.
Oh man.
Minimum.
Driving?
Minimum.
Driving, that's a 2-pack ride. See, if you're driving a long way, you're gonna have your cigarettes.
Look, I mean, yeah, there's no question about it. You're not going to be pulling over, and like having one every 6 hours or something like, you got to smoke if you're going to stay awake.
Whenever somebody asks me, why do you still smoke? I'm always like, you know what? Because I really don't want to be a non-smoker. I hate non-smokers.
The only thing worse than a non-smoker is an ex-smoker.
No, the only thing worse than a non-smoker is there's somebody that fucking asks you for a cigarette when they're drunk. It's like, get away from me, you fucking asshole.
Right.
You shit on smokers all fucking week, and now you got a drink? I don't care how cute you are, sir. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Go buy your own.
It's always some cute chick, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, can I bum a cigarette from you? And she's all fucking drunk. You're like, get the fuck away from me. No.
What does a pack of cigarettes cost these days? Is it like 10 or 12 bucks?
It's 15 bucks.
$15.
$15. Holy shit. If that's not a reason.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. They could charge 50 bucks. I'm still getting them.
Well,
I don't give a fuck.
Wow.
There's places you can buy.
If they only knew that we would pay 50 bucks for a pack.
You put on your Marine Corps uniform and go to the PX to get them cheaper or what?
No, I mean, like I shouldn't be relaying this information, but there's an untaxed cigarette place in Manhattan that I know about.
I know a couple of those too.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go. You got to. I mean, like, I don't care about the city's tax. Why should I pay them any more than I have to?
So fucking stupid anyway.
Plus, I'll be down in Tennessee so I'll be able to stock up a little bit. Maybe I'll come back and sell you a few for $8 a pack or something.
Like you be on the corner selling cartons.
Yeah.
Listen, I give the guy 20 bucks for a pack of Marlboro Lights. He gives me 16 back. I don't check the money. I just put it in my pocket. He wants it's usually 15 bucks. You're not getting no. It's like $9 if you're lucky. 10 bucks.
Yeah, 9, 10. It's a nice break. But those girls you're talking about, Mark, when they ask for the cigarettes and you say no, they can't believe you said no.
No, you know what? But you got to say it the right way. I said, listen, I no offense, but I would never want to do anything to harm you. Get your cigarettes from somewhere else. I'm not gonna help you.
No, I only have 18 left.
No, I said, this is my body. I could do whatever I want to it. I'm okay, but I don't want to harm anybody else. So no offense, but I'm going to have to pass.
Somebody told me about this guy that was on stage. And I hate to just steal a bit that this guy says he saw, but the guy asked for a cigarette. Anybody in the audience got a cigarette? You had a cigarette? And somebody gives him one. He's like, okay, great, thanks. He takes a pack out. He's like, I only had 15 left.
In New York City, you could get shot for that, though.
I mean,
yeah. It's funny because, oh man.
So, what do you think about the future of New York City regarding, since this is Police Off the Cuff and a crime show, regarding?
All right.
You think we've turned the corner into the abyss, and we're going the way of the 80s and the 90s? What do you think?
I mean, I wasn't here until 2006, but obviously I know how it was from talking to Ralph Friedman and other guys who were around back then. So, and they all tell me, and that's who I listen to, is you guys, and you guys, are all saying, yeah, it's heading back. It's a nip of the ringer now, just the first, little bit, but you could see it going down the whole time de Blasio's been in office. I mean, he's done nothing but make the city worse to be in terms of quality of life and everything. You look around and it's just not the same. I mean, Bloomberg, say what you want about him, it was pretty clean. Everything looked all right. Now it's
Bloomberg just rode Giuliani's coattails, and he was doing fine those first 8 years. It was the last 4 that it got ridiculous because at that point right now you were just you had to let go of the gas a little bit. They had they were nightclub task force, and they used to roll in on the Saturday night in your place of business, put the lights up, kill the music, run people's ID. Like, what fucking authority do you fucking?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no incident going on here. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Well,
And he
yeah.
summons the place. It was just, that's Gestapo bullshit on the Bloomberg during his last fucking, those last from fucking 8 to 12 years. That fucking social club that killed, remember 11th Avenue where the whores used to be. Remember they used to walk down up there, 26th, 27th Street? Then it became a nightclub area.
Chelsea.
And I don't know who was complaining because there was no residential fucking real estate. Maybe they were looking to build up residential real estate, which they probably did after the fact. But there was nightclubs on 3 of those blocks, 3 nightclubs deep each block. And that's where everybody used to go. And they made sure they shut that fucking thing down.
That's too bad.
Some of those clubs held 3,000-4,000 people too.
Wow.
You'd never know that from being
For no reason. I mean, just for no reason, because he wanted you to keep your party in your borough. That bridge and tunnel crowd, he wanted you to stay on your side of the bridge and don't take the tunnel.
Oh, you think just snobbery, huh?
Well, look, every borough developed. Like Brooklyn developed. Brooklyn was a fucking shithole. Now all of a sudden they made it a pain in the ass to go to fucking Manhattan for your nightlife. So you stayed in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn started getting better. Same thing. Astoria was always good, but it got better. And Bayside got better, and all these different places got better on the weekends. People stopped going into the city. But that's what he wanted. He wanted, like, the people, he didn't want he wanted you to go home after work.
Well, my understanding was he kind of like, delegated a lot of that to Ray Kelly. I mean, I thought he pretty much ran the comps.
Yeah, he did. He did. And like what Mark said was he needed to take his foot off the gas pedal. Because
Yeah, I mean that.
Mark said he needed to take his foot off the gas pedal because once you lowered crime to a certain level, to keep it going down, you had to get beyond intrusive and to the point of violating people's rights. And that's what happened.
We have a city of fucking how many million people, and we have 300 homicides. I mean, come on. How much fucking lower do you want to get it?
Well, they certainly took a step in the opposite direction with De Blasio. That's for sure. I mean, like stop and frisk had really gone down a lot in the last, couple of years, even before De Blasio. I mean, it was like way down. I guess they finally realized it was not going to work out. Maybe they were just winding the whole thing down. I don't know. But he ran largely on ending stop and frisk, but it was largely already over.
Right. Did you see that video? I think it was yesterday, the day before, from the Bronx, where this guy walks up to a woman in broad daylight, puts a knife to her throat and robs her in broad daylight. It's around 12 noon in the afternoon. That is the exact kind of arrest that anti-crime is out there for. Because a guy like that, you can spot him before he does the crime. Mm-hmm. And and actually watch him and collar him right after that. A guy like that now, but with uniform is much harder to get. But with no anti-crime, these type of robbers are emboldened. At 12 o'clock in the afternoon, putting a knife to a woman's throat right on the street.
I have no idea what sort of pressure was on Dermot Shea to make that decision. He acted like it was his call, but
there's no way that was his call. There's no way on earth.
Well, didn't we have somebody on the show that said that they decided to disband it to protect the cops that were in there because all of a sudden they were going to be open up for indictment. So he's like, fuck it. If you're going to open them up for indictments and that's the job that they actually do, then fuck it. We shouldn't even have it.
Well, that's a good point.
That could have been.
Who said that? Somebody said that.
Yeah.
Was it Ed Harnett that said that?
Could be, yeah. It could be a casualty of the diaphragm law. But maybe
the diaphragm, all of it. It's all in the. They don't care, man. They don't care. They have a different idea. I think it's just a change of money. Like let these people give up their properties at a lower value. We'll buy it. If you see a lot of the real estate that's being purchased in the city, like apartments and stuff like that, it's by these development companies. It's not even like individual buyers.
Oh, right. So it's not like there's going to be this big shift, like take from the rich, give to the poor, not like they would plan on, which is a bad idea to begin with. But even the boutique hotels are going up for sale now.
Well,
which never go for sale.
I want to ask, do you think a single one of the guys and 3 or 4 people recently that pushed someone onto the tracks, you think any one of them paid their fare? I'm serious. You think any one of them paid their fare?
That's a
It
good
would be
question.
strange, very strange if they did. Yeah,
That would be the most responsible
EDP.
shove her
It's
onto
like-
the tracks person
But
ever
that
was.
was a way to get people.
The reason why we caught him was we saw him paying his fare.
Yeah.
yeah. He wants to make sure there's a subway to push people onto tomorrow.
Turnstile was a way that we kept a lot of serious criminals out of the subway system.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he basically told you you're on your own.
Turnstile.
They told you you're on your own right now.
Is that what Pat Lynch said?
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny. It's just like when I grew up, there was a term. It was called mugging. You got mugged, and it was because like robbery had become such a joke. Like, you know, basically you had some comedian had a joke too about how he had $1 in his pocket for, you know, the mugger. You know, going to his mother always gave him $1.
Yeah, Upper West Side kids used to carry mugging money.
Yeah, so
they would pay the mugger not to rob them.
Well, they get, you know, what do you got, kid? Give me your money, and then they would give him $1 because otherwise you get roughed up.
Say run your pockets or whatever. Well, I mean, you know, look,
that's just it became so commonplace. The poverty was at a level that if you had to go out after a certain hour, you were taking a chance. And you know, that's kind of sort of the way I grew up too, man. You knew there were certain neighborhoods you didn't go into after a certain hour. It was just like people just knew. It just knew, and we're going back to that right now, where. And I always used to look at people walking, like you see, you know, some woman deep into her phone. She's got her earbuds in.
And you're thinking, man, I could totally
get into her building. You know what I'm saying? She's not looking who's behind her. And I'm like, man, back in the day, this lady would have been mincemeat. You know, you're so lucky that you're able to live like that. And it's coming back. People are going to be on their P's and Q's again.
Well, it's definitely gonna take a lot of people off guard, I think, you know, although it has crept in slow. I mean, that's my take on it. I don't know what it's like for you guys.
You know, it's not that there's that many more crazy people in the street. It's just that there's no other people in the street. So it's the same amount of crazy people, but they used to be like 10,000 people walking in front of them every day. So your chances of getting attacked were like 10,000 to 1 on that particular corner. But now it's literally like 3 to 1 because there's nobody else walking around there.
I don't know. I know what you mean. I saw 2 guys today. I saw 2 crazies like within my line of sight, and they were unrelated. You know what I mean? You could just see them, and you're like, oh, that guy, stay away from him. Oh shit, stay away from that guy. You know,
it's like a gauntlet.
You're walking through a gauntlet. You walk up 53rd Street at like, you know, 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. And, you know, you'll see people dining, and God bless these restaurants. They've done a beautiful job of putting these tables outside. Some of them have heaters. They've tried to make it as nice as possible. And literally, like, not even 10 feet away, there's 3 dudes there. One guy's got like a little radio. He's the other guy's sitting there. He's got a half a cigarette. 2 guys are nodding off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? One guy
possibly taking a dump. You know, I mean, like
it's like what the fuck? What the fuck happened?
But you know something. You know what breaks my heart? Down in Chelsea, not Chelsea. Down by Tribeca the other day, a 14-year-old autistic kid gets robbed by 2 savages, EDP types. He's screaming as they're robbing him and beating the shit out of him. No one helps him. There's another anti-crime arrest. That's another, they would spot these 2 savages. You know what I mean? But so now they're going unchecked. They're unchecked, you know?
And it's good. This one's probably not going to take off and become a classic like the Kitty Genovese, you know, deal, right?
No.
An autistic guy screaming. Look, man, what do you think about them using, you know, like social workers or something for EDPs?
Oh, I wrote a skit on it.
It's going to work out perfectly. I think it's going to work out perfectly.
Yeah. It's gonna be
how could it go wrong?
I would love to be a sergeant on Patrol Central. We got a violent EDP. Could you get me one of those violence interrupters have them respond.
Yeah.
33 Broadway. I want them to go in first.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love experiments. Like I'm so pro Oregon. I think that if they want to legalize drugs over there, they should. Not only that, but they should give the drugs out for free.
They should be mandatory.
Listen to me. On a social experiment, think about this. What happens to a person when you take away, like most of a drug addict's day is trying to get money to get drugs and then trying to get drugs. What happens when you take that away?
You take away his whole reason to live.
No, but they're going to get back to doing what they used to do. When that's not a problem anymore, when they could actually go to a place and get over drugs and more just to put in my pocket, just in case my mind is clear, I don't have to look. At some point, you're going to go back to doing what you used to do.
Taking up the oboe and stuff, right?
Well, whatever it is fuck they used to do, I think it would be a beautiful human experiment. I think they should go through with it. And people say, well, where are you going to get the money? I said, fuck rehab. It doesn't work. If you have somebody who's good in court and they're like, do you want to do your time or do you want to plead, I was a drug addict? If you plead you're a drug addict, send them to Oregon. Send them right there. You get your drugs for free, you go to CVS, and for the rest of the day, you're going to do whatever the fuck you want to do.
And then we got to build the wall.
Well, listen, they're not going to want to leave.
Hey, Bloomberg
had to be in the same area.
Bloomberg had the greatest homeless policy. You would give a homeless person a one-way ticket to anywhere in the United States for free.
Yeah, I love that. Allegedly.
And Minneapolis, too. I think Minneapolis, if they want to go without the police, fuck it, let them go without the police. But they can't call for outside police. You guys got to figure it out. I think we should send the cameras down, make it a fucking game show. Just put fucking cameras in the trees. Just let's see what the fuck happens.
Yeah, don't be asking these surrounding counties for any help. Yeah, don't be like the Old West.
They used to be.
If Bloomberg would have taken these homeless people and just shot them out of a cannon, that would be fine with me.
Did you see that? Like when you see all the progressive policies that have gone on in New York City, bail reform, jumping the turnstile a civil matter instead of a misdemeanor, the homeless problem and the EDP problem, just letting them live out on the street.
Public urination, all that stuff.
Council came up with this thing where they want to pay people to rat out people whose cars are parked illegally. Is that unbelievable? Is this a Gestapo state we're in? They come up with all these ridiculous ideas.
What was that? What was it?
They want to pay citizens to rat out people whose cars are parked illegally.
Oh, you mean which cop is parked illegally?
No, not a cop. Well, they probably mean that too. But
that's pretty.
Civilians, say you parked on a hydrant or parked illegally, they want to pay people like to call up traffic and get the car towed and get a summons. Is that outrageous? That's all these jackasses can think about.
Yeah, but there's people out there that are going to do it because there's these fucking Karens out there. They see it and they want to do something, and now you gave them the ability to do it.
Yeah, they're looking for an outlet, and it's funny you mentioned the Karen thing. It makes me think of that Central Park Karen. The Karen is misapplied there. The black guy was the Karen. You know what I mean? That chick got her life ruined. How come social media and all this public opinion and shit has so much influence over the law all of a sudden? I didn't think it was like that.
Let me tell you something, bro. That guy was at the Rambles. He's not watching birds. He's looking to get his fucking dick.
Yeah, a different type of bird.
Okay. And then now all of a sudden, he's in the middle of getting his ass licked and there's a fucking dog walking around.
You know what kind of bird he wanted? A cockatoo.
And he's like, yo, there's no fucking dogs off leash over here, sweetheart. I'm trying to hook up.
Yeah, those dog treats he had in his pocket, those weren't for dogs.
They got a nice situation going on over there, man.
Hey,
if you walk past another dude, there's really not that much to say. It's like, what's up, man? You want something like that? I was like, let's go. Like, there's no thing like that between heterosexuals where you can go in a part of a park and then when it's said and done. And now all of a sudden there's fucking dogs around. Like, what the fuck is up with this dog? Why does he keep coming over here?
Yeah.
The only way heterosexuals in the Rambles years ago, and I couldn't believe the things I saw in there. Because a lot of gay guys were getting robbed in there.
Yeah, me too. I did an undercover investigation there for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's for real?
Your red bandana that was in your left rear pocket?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, not you, Mark. But I mean, Bill, did you actually work up there?
Oh, we were put in the Rambles for like 2 or 3 weeks because they had a robbery pattern inside the Rambles.
All the gays were getting robbed by other gays.
Yeah.
I had a guy one time, man, and he was the best actor I ever seen in my life. He was remember the movie 6 Degrees of Separation, the way Will Smith looked?
Yeah.
That's exactly the way this guy looked. And what he used to do is he used to meet these guys in gay bars and hustle them. He'd take their watch, a Rolex. He spent a couple of weeks, maybe a month with them, and then, clean them out. And I had a warrant for him. And I went to the victim's house and I interviewed them. And he told me a couple of bars that the guy hung out at. So the first bar that I fucking went to, I gave my card. I showed him a picture. The guy said, "Oh, yeah, he's a regular, but he's not here now." And he said, "I'll call you when he comes in." And we were driving somebody else to court. The bartender calls me, he goes, "The guy's here right now." So I went over there and I walked in the bar, and it's the middle of the day. The music is pumping. He's doing some dancing, and I come around like this, and he looks at me and he turns around all happy. "Hey, what's up? How are you?" And I'm like, that's when I reached in here. I showed him my shield. I was like, "Hey, come outside with me. I don't want to embarrass you in front of your friends." And he goes, "Okay." So I let him lead the way. Then we cuffed him. We took him down. Now, mind you, this is a gay bar right now. He's being as gay as you could possibly be gay. Now he's in the car with us, rear cuffed in the back seat. And while we're driving down the court, all he keeps talking about is how hot the girls are. These girls that, but he's not doing it in the type of way where it's a gay guy talking about girls. No, he's like really like attracted to. He was just like me, like fucking like a dude. Then we get down to we're in Central Book and he's rear cuffed and some other guy looks at him. He goes, "What the fuck are you looking at?" And I was like, "Yo, I just saw this guy be 3 different people in 1 hour." He was the gay dude in the bar. He was the fucking, he was the misogynistic guy in the car. And now he's going to fuck this dude up in Central Booking.
Now he's the king of Cell Block D.
Yeah, I'd never seen a better actor than this guy in my whole life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Squandered talent, right?
I know.
I had one like that too. I had this one girl, man, who, boy, she could do anything with her mouth. And then she ended up trying to shoot me, She was pretty full of crap too. And what if I show you guys a video? Since you showed me a video, Bill, can I show you guys a video I think you might like?
Yeah.
I have to pull it up off of YouTube.
Oh no! Oh wait, you won't be able to. I won't be able to share the screen, will I? That's the difference.
No, you won't.
No,
You put it up to the screen where your face is.
Yeah, I would.
Oh,
this is technically I'm technically challenged, and you want me to do something that Spielberg couldn't do.
well, the thing is, what it is it shows this guy who takes a guy down, a citizen, and he gets him in some kind of a chokehold, and that's what they're calling it, right? And he gets him in a chokehold, and he takes him down, and he holds him down, right? And they're talking about what a hero he is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the guy tried to kidnap a kid, right?
Or whatever it is, But I mean, it's like if a cop did it, it's
right. They'd be looking to lock him up.
Yeah, it's really stupid. It's really
they use the word choke even.
Yes. Well, the guy was like a jiu-jitsu expert.
Right. Exactly.
No,
yeah.
it's unfortunate.
I had Detective Pat, who's been on the show numerous times. He was in the RIP unit when I was the sergeant at 2-3, and he calls me in one time because Sarge, he goes, "I got this pattern this guy has robbed 10 trannies." He would meet them on the back of the Village Voice. Remember the Village Voice would have ads, beautiful Latina.
No,
I'm not familiar.
I never heard of that before.
This was back in the day. They would advertise in the back of the Village Voice. So the guy, but the ads were very explicit. It would say, "Beautiful Latina, 38 Ds, 8-inch cock," right? So the guy's a construction worker, 3 kids, a wife in Jersey, picket fence, the whole thing. So Porteous, the Detective Pat, calls me in. He goes, "Come on in." He goes, "I'm interviewing this guy." So he interviews him. He goes, "I want to ask you something." And Porteous has this real low, deep voice. He goes, "When you set up the date, did you know she had a cock?" And I fucking like busted out laughing. And the guy's like, no. He goes, "Well, I'm gonna read something to you." And he takes the Village Voice ad out of one of the trannies the guy robbed, and he says, "Beautiful Latina, 38 D's, 8-inch cock." There's no mistaking the ad. Says that. You sure? And the guy did like 10 robberies of trannies, and he confessed.
I got to 38 Ds, and and I stopped reading. That's all I needed to know.
That's right. I didn't read any further after that.
Trannies now, man. I wouldn't. There's a tranny that I see around here, man, and that's the last person I want anything to do with, man. Okay, it's like 6'5" and just nuts, yelling at cars and stuff. I don't know.
You know, when I used to work in Queens, there was a place there on Roosevelt Avenue where they were all Colombian or Ecuadorian, and he talking about like they used to have a contest there in one of these bars, and it was a big deal. Like who won the the most
beautiful
transgender,
right,
and you could go there, and they would have the most beautiful, like it was like I think it's 78th Street, right off of Roosevelt, 77th. Those 2 blocks right there, you could see the most beautiful, like. And I worked with a couple of cops, and they were. This one guy told me one day we got into an argument, and he was in the row next to me getting dressed, and I was like, shut up, you used to be a power lifter. And he goes, oh yeah, I'll put high heels on you and fuck you right in the ass. And I heard this from that. I was like, you know what, you win this argument. I just stopped arguing. Yeah. They'd go by there every night, every fucking night. They'd go by there. They pull the fucking car over, fucking talk to them.
Somebody says some shit like that, the last thing you want to do is escalate that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I never have any. You don't see too many good ones,
No, that block was full of them. And you know what they did one time? They put up an operation. They took a couple cops from the 110 over there, and you couldn't find the most 2 Irish guys looking in the world, like big, thick, fucking mustaches, and like beer guts.
Yeah.
And they put them in like comfortable shoes, a skirt, and a fucking wig, and they put them out there, and they arrested the Johns. And it was so fucking funny that we were driving around. They had to go over the radio. It says, Central, be advised, we're doing an operation over here. Please tell all the sectors to stay away from this area. Because we just kept driving by. We were crying, laughing. We couldn't believe it that these 2 guys were standing on the corner there, and it looked like you just put a wig on a fucking cop.
They used to call that Operation Losing Proposition. Remember, they used to take people's cars too.
Yeah, a fucking Mercedes pulled up, a BMW pulled up. They would just fucking impound the car. It was crazy. I couldn't fucking believe it. I couldn't believe there was guys pulling over for this.
In the late 80s, they had so many hoes on the west side, like, I don't know, 55th, 54th, and 11th. And one night there was like 8 or 10 pimps all hanging out. They had the hats with the feathers. They were all like exaggerated pimps. But they were standing near like a 3-foot deep puddle. I hit that fucking puddle doing 55 miles an hour, and a tidal wave went up in the air and soaked all these pimps. I laughed so hard I almost needed oxygen.
Back in the day, I used to drive a car service, and I got this guy, Maurice Starr. He was the manager of New Kids on the Block. And I had one of their brothers in the car. Their little brother, the Marky Mark, and then the other one, they had a little brother too. I had him driving around with Maurice Starr, and he was like, the kid's like 12 years old, 13. And they're like, take him to see some stuff, So I was like, I don't know I'm a native New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving for this limousine company. I don't know where to take him. So I took him to the Who's on 26th Street, 27th, 28th, right over there between 10th and 11th. We did a couple of laps over there. Then I took him down to the Village. I said, we used to call it the Freaks of Nature back then. I said, I'll take you down to the Freaks of Nature. And then we parked down there. We got out. We took a walk on 8th Street over there, on Christopher Street. And then this guy gave me $100 tip at the end of the day.
Damn.
Yeah.
You gave a good tour.
They loved it. I was like, you can see the Empire State Building, the Twin Towers. Gives a shit.
I didn't know you.
You want to see
the
the
real stuff. I'm
Are
gonna show
you
you some
serious? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, no.
But are you serious about these guys? These with the mustaches, and they were getting all kinds of play for like some guys cruising around in a BMW Mercedes in New York City, and he's stopping for this like
blew my fucking mind.
address. And I thought that was just some shit on Barney Miller.
No, it's true.
It really happened, you know.
That's where Barney Miller gets it from. You know, yeah, you know what? You mentioned Barney Miller. That was one of the best shows.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, detective shows. If you want to know what it's like to be in the squad,
It's like that. It's really
exactly like
There's
that.
a lot of
better than Hill Street Blues.
No, Hill Street Blues is what it means to be on patrol.
All right.
So if you want to see what it's like to really be on patrol, it's that Hill Street Blues. And then the squad is Barney Miller.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a funny show.
Well, that's the way I developed my my one man show. That's the way I had it set up. All those shows.
Like Barney Miller.
Well, yeah, there was one scene. It was the Barney Miller scene. The music would play, and then I would talk about this. Barney Miller was my favorite, and then I would go into another story.
Yeah, we should put that up someplace. You should come to Compound and record and just shoot that, the one man show.
Yeah, I should have done that. Yeah, I did it a couple times. You know, I did it in the Fringe Festival and stuff like that, but it still has some relevance.
Whoa, you did it at the Fringe Festival in Scotland?
No, right here in New York.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
It was nice. I mean, they give you. I got 3 great write-ups.
Uh-huh.
You know, but you know, we're comics, so we take it. I don't know. I have a lot of other jobs that I've always been doing. So it's like if it doesn't take off, we're gonna. We always got stand up to go lean back on.
Yeah. Do we?
Not now.
I'm knocking down 20K.
Clubs are never coming back, man. Never. They're not coming back in New York City, I don't think. What do you think?
I don't know.
They seemed like they were hanging by a thread before this happened, you know.
Some of them, yeah. I mean, like Dangerfields, you know. But it's sad about Chariam. You know, that waiter's been there since 1970, right? And he's been, you know, he's been old and coughing for a long time, you know. And then COVID 2 weeks later, after the lockdown, if he doesn't have work to go to, and he just dropped like that.
Well, I mean, there you go. That kind of that sums it up right there. I mean, is it dead because the Achario's gone? Maybe. I don't know. I think it evolved into something. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but
it's this.
Well, hopefully, we can get back to the freedom of speech, because what happened was comedy was really taking a beating because, you know, people were scared to say what was really on. I saw a bunch of comedians coming up on stage and apologizing for being white right off the bat. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing right now? What the fuck are you fucking doing right now?
Apologizing. You're supposed to, you know, rip your garment and show some blood, you know, and maybe like cut yourself. You know, apologizing is passe.
How many comics I saw doing that? Just fucking like the opening joke is something like, oh, I know I got privilege and I know I got this, but the fuck out of here.
I've been doing it so long. I remember when a black guy would come on stage and go, looks like I'm the only chip in the cookie.
Yeah.
Things have changed a lot, you know. The angry white man was a whole thing back in the 90s.
Yeah.
That was a style of comedy.
With the whole cancel culture thing, it's like everything is politically incorrect, you know. Most comics won't go to college campuses because of that.
If you go around saying the shit you want to say all the time, you're uncancelable.
You know, also too, like, here's the thing. If this guy could become president and then all of a sudden, you know, he's going to do his 4 years, but it's not going to be that. I mean, as long as you have Trump on the sideline, he's always going to be talking. He's always going to be agitating his 70 million followers. And there's always going to be tension. And then he's going to announce that he's going to run again in 2 years. And then it's going to get even fucking more heated up. So there's like, it's still going to be this hatred in the air because it's not going to go away. There's no giving in.
I mean, like all that stuff, and they always put it off on something that's going to happen later. After the election, everything will be fine. After the winter, everything will be fine. You know, they said the first one was 2.5 weeks. They are always saying it's going to be better. It's never going to be better. Nothing's going to change. But if Joe Biden wins this election, if he actually becomes the next president, there will never be another Republican president, ever.
Well,
good night, everybody.
Are you talking about just the continuation of cheating every election after that?
Yeah, I mean, they'll have everything lined up. I mean, they'll if you think the domination they have, previously was strong. I mean, like with him as president, it's gonna it's gonna.
I don't know. I
advance a
think
lot.
if they go too far left, that's where you'll see the rate, multiply.
And
You
that's
know
when
what?
they'll.
I think to
Another COVID
myself,
wave.
I don't understand why they fought so hard for this 4 years anyway, because the reality is this first 2 years is going to be shit. You're going to have to get over COVID. And then after that, you're going to have to get over, build the economy back up. So the first 2 years is a waste. It really is. And then the whole time you're going to be having Biden, Harris. Like I said, you're going to have Trump on the sideline, just waiting. And every time you fuck up, he's going to have something to say. And his allegiance is never going to go away. And then he's going to announce after 2 years that he's going to run. And then from that point on, you're fucking doomed.
I bet you if he doesn't win this, I bet you he announces his bid for 2024 the following day.
Well, then that would fuck up your whole presidency. I don't think he really has to lean in that hard right now because they're up. I don't understand. See, here's the thing. Most of the time, if you look through history, the president gets 8 years and then the other side gets the next presidency because they're just so sick and tired of the other fucking side. And that's the way it usually goes. The only time I can remember that didn't happen was when you had Reagan for 2 terms and then you had Bush for a term, but Bush didn't win the second term because at that point they were fucking sick of the Republicans.
My God, Fleetwood Mac was in the air and everything.
But my point is that if you would have just let him fucking do the other 4 years, right? He's handed 2 bags of fucking shit. The first 2 years are going to be shit. Nothing but fucking problems. No matter which way you try to fucking look at it, you got to get over COVID, then you're going to have to build the economy again. So they should have fucking said, fuck it, you deal with it. And then afterwards.
If anybody's still alive after we go and visit our relatives on Thanksgiving, we should all be grateful for that.
Hey, did you see
it's like
Pennsylvania? It was Jersey or Pennsylvania stop liquor sales
for Thanksgiving or all together?
Yeah, was it Pennsylvania or Jersey?
I don't know.
It was one of them. I just saw it. They stopped liquor sales. Like, are you kidding?
Wow. I mean, they kept the liquor. Yeah, they kept the liquor stores open and they closed the gyms. That's good for health.
Exactly. All liquor except Chianti.
Well, that's how Bloomberg was, man. He didn't want you could come to Central Park with a bottle of wine and sit down and listen to somebody play the fucking clarinet, but he didn't want you. Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah, Bloomberg would actually get on the train and ride to work. Remember that?
Yeah,
a billionaire.
That was real.
De Blasio goes down there. It's a whole, he's got an entourage. It's a whole press event. They got to clean out the homeless people. He hasn't been down in a long time.
I can't see how any cop could work in de Blasio's security detail. They are whores. Anyone that works in his security detail, watch Police Off the Cuff. You're a whore if you work with de Blasio.
Steady days, man.
Put yourself out to work for that guy.
Things that you do for steady days off.
Yeah, steady days off, overtime.
Grade.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then maybe he's also going like, hey, if anybody tries to kill this guy, I'm not gonna try too hard.
Really?
You know what? Did you see him walking down? Like I forget what the last week he was walking down the street, and some guy goes, "Hey, De Blasio," and then he looks over, he goes, "How you doing?" He goes, "Hey, fuck you, you fucking asshole!" Shit, he just starts yelling at him. You're the worst. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, De Blasio goes, "How you doing?" He goes, "Not too fucking good."
Yeah.
And then he's like,
one of his detectives was like, "Calm down." The guy was like, "Fuck you too."
Yeah, fuck all you motherfuckers. I love that guy. He's the new Vicky Palladino.
Oh, the guy. You had the guy from Staten Island too, right? the artist from Staten Island?
Yeah, Scott Lebedo. Yeah.
Scott Lebedo. We had him on too a while ago.
Yeah. Thanks to you guys. Like, he was great guest, man. I mean, like, he can go and go. We hung out with him after. We went to some Italian place and had lasagna.
Oh wow.
Italian place.
Is he Italian?
Yeah.
He'll say he's running for mayor or what?
I don't know. He didn't seem to want to talk about that too much yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
There's
like,
a guy we're having on our show, a retired cop named Bill Pepitone, and he's running for mayor. I wonder if he's related to the Joe Pepitone from the Yankees from years ago.
Or Eddie Pepitone out on the West Coast.
Yeah, he's funny, Eddie.
Is a comic, Eddie Pepitone?
Yeah. When Eddie's very funny.
By the way, when you mentioned Pete Burdett, I didn't recognize the Burdett part. I know him just as Pete the comic, the guy in the Hawaiian shirts.
Like Comedy Pete. He loves that name.
Comedy Pete. That's it right there. Comedy Pete.
No, because if you would have wanted to put like a guy like, in one way he's so over the top, but he actually could be a police officer, like, undercover over there working. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to sell tickets. He's an over the top comic, but he really is just a fucking undercover detective.
He wears Hawaiian shirts in the winter. Right?
Yeah.
He looks like he came off that Hawaiian Punch commercial. Remember that?
Yeah.
How many little
weird guy with the weird hair.
How many little kids got punched in the face because of that show? Hey, how would you like a Hawaiian Punch? Yeah. And then sock them in the face.
Yeah. The Hawaiian shirts, man. Like, what's his name? The parrot head guy,
So you're driving down, what did you say, Chattanooga, Tennessee? And you leave.
Went down to do a comedy catch on Wednesday and then Friday and Saturday. And that's it. Probably. I mean, like, I haven't decided to leave time yet. Got to be there Wednesday though, so
you should probably leave now.
You should go to all the states that shut down the liquor sale.
That's my anxiety. I would leave now. I'm always paranoid about time.
Pass through New Jersey, pick up that bottle of scotch.
I'd rather be there a fucking day and a half early than late.
Yeah, the problem is I got shit to do tomorrow. And you guys might have shit to do tomorrow too. I don't know. I want to see. I wanted to ask you guys what you're doing tomorrow around 9, but we can talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
At night?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that blows that.
I still work it's funny. I work as a doorman, and that's an essential worker technically. And if you think about it, can you just think about it for 1 second? Can you think of a more unessential thing?
Elevator operator.
Than a doorman. I mean, it's a fucking revolving door. Been there since day one, like a sacrificial lamb.
That's ridiculous. I mean, like, I'm glad you got work, but an essential worker, that shows who they're really buttering up in this. Like, oh my God, without my doorman, we'd never be able to get a cab.
Never seen anything more honest. But it got me out of when I came back from Aruba. I got tested for the COVID a couple of times, and I was able to get back to work instead of fucking quarantine 14 days.
That's awesome. How was Aruba?
It was okay. I mean, listen, you get at this point right now, if you could jump in the ocean and go for a swim, man, what's that word to you?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I mean, those moments right there where I didn't fucking think about what was going on over here and all this stupid shit, priceless.
It's what it shows in Tennessee.
Wait, you mean now in Aruba? In Aruba, they're not doing COVID?
No, they do COVID, man. They have to do it, man. They got they don't have that many hospitals. If they get hit, they only have like 150. I think it probably like at 150,000 people on that island.
Oh, okay.
It's like 19. It's 19 miles long and like 8 or 9 miles wide. It's bigger than Manhattan.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
By like 6. I think Manhattan's 13 miles long.
Did you do any crazy shit like like said jetpack that actually uses water and stuff like that and all that stuff?
I saw this guy going by and he had this little fucking, it was like a bullet, and it had things on the side fast, like a jet ski, but it was just like a bullet on top of him. And when I saw him come by, I thought he was dealing drugs because the guy came out of nowhere and he had like a fucking one of those safari hats on. and he had a little thing on his arm. So I told my girl, I said, that guy's dealing drugs. And then it turns out he was just renting the thing. You could rent it for, but the thing went underwater.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went to
Like
see a
submarine.
shipwreck. I went to see a shipwreck. It was a German ship that Hitler made them capsize it rather than get captured right there in the Aruba Bay. And you go down there, and while I'm going under there with my snorkel, I see this other guy come with that fucking bullet thing, and he knows how to use it though. I would have drowned if I would have used that thing. I would have drowned, but
Yeah. I had a similar experience though with that drug dealer thing, because I had a guy, I passed him on the street right over here on 8th Avenue around I don't know 18th, 19th Street, and he goes, I got that cocaine. And I turned to my girlfriend and I said, this guy is dealing drugs. I was sure of it. He said I could try it before I buy it and everything.
Maybe he thought you were from Iowa or something. Des
Moines. There's always a guy out in front of the LOL, like on that corner there. You're in the middle of Times Square, and he'll always say that to you. I got that cocaine. I'm like, this guy's such a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, he probably. Well, you'd have to fucking. Who knows if you were working, but who does that?
Who does what? You mean who buys cocaine from a guy like that?
No, who says that anyway, though?
I think they all say it. They all go cocaine. I got that cocaine. You want some cocaine?
They're probably just gonna rob you.
And I figured there's another guy who actually has the cocaine, and so this guy can't get arrested. He's like, "What are you talking about? I don't have any cocaine. I was making a joke."
Mm-hmm.
Is that how? I don't know how drug dealing works. I really don't. There's a bunch of guys who hang out under the scaffolding by the Chinese restaurant. I try to avoid it.
I don't know. That's like pretty old school right there. We go back to where we started was with Times Square in that area over there, and how that used to be like you can get whatever you wanted over there, man. There was prostitutes and there was drugs and it was, if you made it out of that gauntlet, coming out of that train station, Times Square, man.
Yeah, well, there's going to be another Bernie Getz, I figure, at some point.
Oh, yeah, that within like another week.
The millennials now probably don't even know who Bernie Getz was or is,
They'll find out.
Yeah.
Refer to a guy like him, he could be a Bernie. That could be a Bernie.
Yeah. You ever watch the video of him telling his story to the cops?
Yeah.
It's great. God, it's great.
Something, he confessed totally, and the jury refused to indict him.
He's so upset.
They indicted him for weapons possession. That's all they got him for.
The whole time he's you do whatever you want. I was an animal. I admit it. And he's like, I've given you plenty already. I mean, he did not hide behind any lawyer or anything.
No. He fully confessed.
I got to see that.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Yeah.
It's funny. Back in the 80s, 90s, there was a lieutenant who was the head of Manhattan robbery, and he made a statement to the newspapers. He said, "The robbers picked the tourists off like they're wheat." They're harvesting wheat, and he got transferred over that remark. The robbers are like, they're just out there. They used to have in Midtown South, they used to have an OP for robberies. That stands for observation point. They worked robberies like SNU. You know how SNU has guys with the binoculars? The robberies are so prevalent. They worked robberies like SNU. They had guys up in a building with binoculars, and they had a catch team on the street. The guy running toward you, he just robbed somebody. They would tackle the guy, and it was like shooting fish in a barrel back then.
Why was that? Because of the crack?
There was just people used to come to Times Square from all over the city, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, just to do robberies.
And then they narrowed it down to once a year, and it usually falls on Easter Sunday.
Oh, I worked there Easter Sunday. It was horrible.
And they come down. Now it's once a year, and it's on Easter Sunday, and they come down to New York City from all the boroughs, all the gangs, and they just wreak havoc in Times Square.
Yep.
And I didn't know that.
Yep. Because I think Coney Island opens that day too. It was the opening day of Coney Island, so they would leave there and come to Manhattan and just create all kinds of shit in Manhattan.
Yeah, it was
So
great.
not just doing robberies, but just doing whatever, just raising hell.
Yeah, raising hell, but a lot of robberies. They used to, you used to hear the term back then called wolf packs.
Yeah, wolf
They,
packs.
they had to use a more politically correct term, so they renamed it. There's a disorderly group. No, it's a wolf pack.
Yeah,
They
they're
were like,
wilding.
"We're giving animal attributes to young men." You're like, yeah, because they're animals. They're acting like animals.
Yeah,
They
I got no
attack
problem.
like wolves. That's why they get the name Wolfpack.
Right. It's not like you're calling them a gang of monkeys.
Yeah, they attacked like wolves, and
You pick the right animal. It's not like all animals are racist.
you
Well,
All you need is love.
we're at an hour and 24 minutes.
Wow.
Why am I still here?
This is
Guys,
fun, man. This was fun.
I could bullshit with you guys all night, man. I mean, you guys are the best. Thanks for having me, man. I hope I didn't ruin it.
No, you were great.
No. I love having you, Pat. I love hanging out with you. We've had a lot of good times together.
Yeah.
I look forward to some more. Hopefully, things have a way of turning around in 6 to 8. As quick as this thing came in, hopefully that's as quick as it'll go out. We'll be back to normal within like a year and a half.
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Anyone out there need a state trooper to have Thanksgiving dinner with you? Cuomo's daughter's boyfriend has no place to go for Thanksgiving. He's up near Canada. Invite him down.
Yeah. So do an act of kindness, right? Let's all go around the table and talk about what we're grateful for.
That's right. I'm grateful for science. We're gonna attack COVID with science.
Yeah. He's all about the science. He ought to look into the
All of a sudden
math.
he's into fucking science. I know that I overspent by $8 billion because I don't believe in math, but I believe in science.
Mhm. The worst, man. The worst.
Yeah. And I'm releasing cop killers because they've done enough time. I believe in science.
Yeah, where does he get this parole board that's letting out the Weather Underground or whatever the hell?
The cop killers, he's letting them get out. They did enough time. Did enough time.
We got to get him back out there.
You should
Every
get him on
vote
your
counts.
show. Did he call up your show the other night, or was that a false alarm?
Oh, Cuomo, yeah, he calls. He's a big fan of the show. But I wanted to clear this up.
He should call. We got to get some phone lines. He could call here. I'd go, I believe in science.
You might be the next Cuomo, actually.
Yeah.
You guys know more about how this shit works than I do. The nursing homes, does the state pay them a certain amount for every patient?
That's a state home. The private ones, no, that people pay themselves.
So the state ones though had to take COVID patients.
I think Medicaid pays for that.
Okay. I wasn't really sure if he had a financial incentive to kill all those old people. I think he just wanted to get the death rate up.
Yeah.
I'm accusing him of murder. Genocide.
Then he'd be the perfect guy for Attorney General.
Absolutely. That's what we need, more genocide.
It's coming for you.
That's right.
Yeah. What's the score?
I don't know, but I'm ready to make some dinner.
All right, then.
Hey,
Good
thanks for
talking to you
coming
guys.
on, Pat.
We're gonna make our final announcements, though. Everyone, all our fans, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. For our
Yeah, happy
Patreon
Thanksgiving.
fans, for whatever reason, we're stuck at 33 and we can't get above that. If you want to be a Patreon fan, it's www.patreon.com/OTC, standing for Off the Cuff Pod 1. And our first tier is the Bucket. So if you want to be called the Bucket, spend $7 a month. The second tier is Polish My Rack. That's $9. And the premier tier is Dipped in Butter, because it feels good to dip them in butter, and that's $11 a month. So,
Wow.
Patreon fan, that's how you do it.
$4 extra and you go from a bucket to that's
A bucket right to the dipped in butter.
We have a surprise coming for our Patreon customers. Bill and I are gonna buck up and send you a surprise. So we'd appreciate it if you're a Patreon subscriber right now and you've been following through the show tonight, leave us your address send us a message on Patreon. Otherwise, we're going to be reaching out to you to get your address. We got a gift coming for you.
Fantastic, man. You're making me look bad for my patrons.
You better watch out. You better not cry.
All righty, man. Thanks for joining in, everybody. Pat, thanks for coming down.
Oh, thanks, man.
Bill, I'll talk to you again tomorrow.
All right. Absolutely.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Later, guys. Bye.